take you on a little tour of what's left. Something's missing here. As you can see, we have your engine block right here. And in cylinder number 4, we don't see a piston. Uh-oh. Here's the piston, or half of the piston. The other half is still down there. This is why you want to change your oil. Heat causes things to bend and warp and eventually break. Lubrication is key in all things. The rest of your parts strewn about, your cylinder head with intake manifold. Wow, look at how black and nasty that leftover oil is. Goodness gracious. Now we have to wait for the new engine. Here we have the replacement engine. Just wrapping up a few things. It's easier to replace things on an engine when it's out of the car as opposed to inside the car. Things along the lines of timing belt, water pump, valve cover gasket. You also get new spark plugs, fresh oil, all this other good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And next up we'll be putting it back in the car. Stay tuned. Okay, here we are a short while later. And went ahead, got the timing belt in place, covered up, valve covers back in place, new spark plugs are in, spark plug wires are in place. We also went ahead and replaced two things that we don't always replace when swapping an engine, but in this case it definitely shows signs of leakage. It's better to replace. One is a front crankshaft seal, which is located back here behind. This is the crankshaft sprocket for the timing belt. Behind that is a front seal for the crankshaft for the engine. It's an oil seal. There's also another one on the back side, right back here. On the other side of that flex plate, we went ahead and replace that as well. So it's about time to put her in. Alright, so we got the engine on the hoist. Car's ready to go. It's time to bring this little 2-liter to a new home. Attach your arm to the transmission, put your feet on the ground, and there we go. You're in there, crouch down and go. Okay. Going down. right where it belongs. Next step will be put all that back into place. Yay! Here we are getting the bottom bolts of the transmission, and also the 4 bolts that bolt the torque converter to the flex plate. It's very fun. In fact, Daniel here is just trying his best to withhold his excitement. A minute ago he was jumping up and down, clicking his heels together. Just something about engines that he finds so inspiring. Alright, we missed a step. What we need to put in is down here. Unfortunately, the bolts for that are up there. It happens. We're back in action. And there you have it. The engine is attached to the transmission. Here we have Daniel's son with a starter motor in his hand, trying to find its home. Easier said than done. Coming down. Alright, you can see I got most of the engine electrics put back into place where they need to be. Daniel got that starter motor in, working on that water pump pulley now, and then we go up. I believe next in order of operations is AC compressor, idler pulley, an exhaust manifold, alternator, power steering pump. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alright, a short while later, after dealing with the client who showed up to drop off his car, you can see that Daniel went ahead and put on the exhaust manifold as I was speaking to said client, and I came through. I put in the AC compressor here, as well as the idler pulley and harmonic balancer, otherwise known as a crank pulley. So that's all in. That's good to go. Time to put on the remaining bolt-on accessories and the belts, and confirm the electrics, and the batteries, and the fluids. Need fluids. Just like you need fluids, your car needs fluids. In fact, that brings us back to why it's here in the first place. Change your oil. And once again, that's what happens when you don't change your oil, right there. Right there. Change your oil. Okay. Alternator's in, tension on the belt is good. AC belt's on, but it's not tensioned yet. I'll wait till I'm done doing up here before doing that. Alright, time for a power steering pump. Alright, power steering pump is in place, belt is on, tension is good, alternator is in place, belt is on, tension is good. Now time to put it back up and move to the AC compressor after I get another glove. Okay, in the interim I went ahead and put tension on the belt for the AC compressor. Tension is good. If anything's a little too tight, might have to adjust that a little later. We shall see. Just going over the rest. Down here, everything's tight and in place. Got the exhaust in place, tight. Little anti-seize lubricant, never hurt anybody. It'll make it easier if that ever has to come off again. So the bottom looks good. Time to bring it down and get going on the top. Alright, it's time to get cracking on top of the motor electrics, as well as air conditioning, getting all that squared away. Alright, AC is in place. Alright, we got Daniel working on the vacuum hose and the throttle cables. I'm going to go ahead and put the radiator back in. Should have lost it. I never disconnected it. It goes right there. Alright, we're about at the point where we're getting ready to fire her up. Clearly we still have the hood to put on, but that ain't no thing. Went ahead, there's oil in the crankcase, a new oil filter, topped up the radiator with coolant. We've got some R134 alpha for the air conditioning system standing by. And yeah, that's about it. Before we do start her up though, there's one thing I want to bring to y'all's attention, and that being, yes, through this video, especially with the wonderful work of editing, I've made this look pretty easy, or at least relatively simple to understand. And like most engineering principles, it is relatively simple, but please don't think that this is a little weekend excursion you can do with a couple of buddies in your garage. I mean, unless you have the proper tools, which we've used a lot of them, given they're a little bit disorderly right now, and also proper equipment, and most importantly, proper know-how. Experience is the greatest teacher of all. So without that, please do not try this. So we'll be firing up here in the near future. So stay tuned. Moment of truth. Yeah, I connected the fuel. It might take a minute to get there. Normally it's a little rougher than that at first. Oh, here comes the hood. And that is how you install an engine assembly in a Hyundai Elantra. Now clearly I still have some more R134 to put into the system for the AC. And we're going to monitor it for, an hour or two, take it for a drive, continue to cut it off, crank it, cut it off, crank it. Kind of like after you go through surgery, they just don't discharge you from the hospital. They want to monitor you for a little while. So that will be coming up, but all in all, that's long short of putting an engine assembly in. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something. If nothing else, hopefully you've learned change your oil. Thanks.